Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing well. I'm Yohann. This is Jean-Mi. I'm a data scientist at Innovaud, and he's my boss. He's the chief data scientist.
No, come on.
No, we're not, actually. We're both innovation advisors at Innovaud. Well, we're very impressed by the level of the speeches we've been seeing so far, but we're not technical at all, to be honest. This session is about failure in AI, and the idea is not to tell you everything, it's just to listen to you. That's the idea of this session, to share our experience about failure we might have encountered in our experience, right? So we'll start with a warm-up example, but before that, just a few words about Innovaud. Maybe you don't know who we are. We are a promotion agency for the canton of Vaud, so we help innovators grow their ideas, concepts, and businesses. So we do this both at the local and cantonal level, but we also help foreign companies set up operations here and contribute to the innovation ecosystem. We're active in deep tech, ICT, life sciences, and manufacturing. So I'm actually covering the deep tech and digital, and Jean-Mi is covering the manufacturing verticals. And basically what we do is, well, we have those communities, the startups, the scale-ups, we help them grow, we interconnect them. We try to have peers exchanging together, like when you plan to go open a facility in the US, how should you do? Right, so, well, we put you in touch with some guys who've done that already, and that can help you. When you plan to go on an IPO, what should you do? Same thing. So we're really trying to basically have the ecosystem interconnect and help each other. And on the manufacturing side, well, maybe Jean-Mi can tell a word about it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, today the goal was, as Yohann said, to bring you to an example where AI did not succeed for the company. And this did happen in the context of what you have here, which is the digital manufacturing Vaud. One of our activity is to bring companies together which are producing here in Switzerland, or more precisely in the canton of Vaud. They have to compete with international partners, with international companies, sometimes within the same groups, because we have manufacturing from big companies here in the canton of Vaud. And their mission is, how can we continue to produce in Switzerland? And to do that by using, hopefully, some digital solutions. Digital in a wide sense, it can be robotics, it can be basic statistical process control, it can be, why not, new technologies like AI or IoT or whatever. And within this group, we bring together something like 15 companies, and they share their experience. They share what they have lived in this domain. And clearly, one of the subjects was AI. And they, as a peer learning, as we say, a company say, well, by the way, how do you use AI in your company, and what does it bring to you in terms of improving your manufacturing capability? And that's where we had all type of answer, all type of solutions, all type of ideas, but it's where also we could share some failure between the companies. And normally, we had a colleague, a company, a guy who was planned to be here with us and to share formally his experience, Mr. Vincent Dessenne. But unfortunately, he had some
health issues,
major health issue over the weekend, And a little bit last minute, he could not attend this show, and the goal was for him to share his experience. And so we are trying to do our best here
To sum up,
and to bring.
that's quite challenging, to be honest. But yeah, Jean-Mi.
So Vincent is a general director or manager of a company called Eraeus Materials, a manufacturing facility in Yverdon, and they produce medical devices as well as luxury watches. They are a division of a big group with more than 10 or 13,000 employees, and they have to compete with Arsenal company, but also with other sites within the same group. And what he was going to share with you is one day he said, well, I heard that AI is taking data, putting them through a kind of process and having answers or having solutions in the other side. Quite a basic approach of what could be AI. And it's in fact what he simply did. He went in contact with a company, a specialist company, and he said, okay, you have access to all my data from production, data from sales, data from my statistics and whatever, cost and so on. Take this data, shake it, and try to come. What can you bring to us using AI, and what kind of advice, solution, guidance can you give us? And finally, what Vincent was going to share with you is the fact that nothing came out. I mean, it was obvious that data were not good enough in some cases, data were not compatible, data were difficult to access, and then when you don't know what you want out of such a solution or such an algorithm, I mean, you don't get anything. And then we started to exchange, to have examples of working solution and non-working solutions. And the goal for us here was a bit to open the discussion and to see if perhaps around you, here in the room, you have an example that you could share with us, that you could share with others as a specialist, or what do you think about this kind of
I see people leaving the room because
examples.
they don't want to share their failures.
So I don't know. I mean, if you can help us, if you are interested to share some ideas or thought about this.
Because we believe that it's sharing best practices. That's super cool. Sharing successes. That's super cool. But we all learn from failures, right? Because you do mistakes, you learn. That okay, that's a mistake. I won't do it again, right? So from a technical perspective, it doesn't sound rocket science to say, yeah, you need to have a goal. And of course, your data will help you achieve that goal. Right? But from a business perspective, it doesn't sound so obvious, right? For non-technical people, well, AI, machine learning, all those stuff, well, it looks like a magic box. Cool. I'm going to put that into the technical guys, and they'll come up with solutions. And it doesn't work that way. So if we step out of the technical side for a minute, or let's say 10 minutes left we have, and we put our shoes into those business guys who don't understand anything about all those exceptions and all the rules we've seen before, and because that's too hard, too conceptual to understand. That's too technical. They have objectives to achieve, business objectives, and how can data help them achieve that? That's a long journey for them. So I'm sure there are some business owners or industrial players in the room, and not only techies in the room, that are maybe willing to share with us some failures, or maybe technical guys. Some of you maybe also have some interesting insights on what should be an ideal journey for an industrial player to go and play with AI and machine learning.
Please help us. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. So I'm a data scientist at Lonza. For those who don't know, so Lonza is one of the manufacturers of the Moderna vaccine. And Lonza is a very interesting company in the sense that nobody got ready for AI some years ago. So of course, as for a lot of companies, what happens is like, okay, we need data scientists. Then you're the data scientist, you're all happy to join the company, and then it's like, okay, so where's the data? And then it's like, yeah, it's somewhere. And you have to find the data, and that's the biggest problem actually, because then you, as a data scientist or data engineer, you're all happy to be there. You know how data looks, you know how to hunt data, you know with which weapons you have to hunt it down. But the problem is that business people do not know this. So it's like, yeah, we have data where, well, in paper form. It's like, wow, that's great.
Okay.
Or, for example, like, okay, we have data, wonderful, but the data is in Excel sheets. So it's like, that doesn't help. Then you have some other, well, of course, Lonza being GMP environment. So of course you have some regulations, so many rules actually, and you cannot always get all the data. So of course that's a major obstacle to data science, I would say. And I think the problem is really to make the management aware of what is data, how it works, what is AI, what is machine learning, deep learning, and everything, because people just mix up everything. It's like, yeah, but can't you just make AI?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I could. I could. That's not a problem, but give me the data.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as you've all listened earlier, so of course, there's all this problem of deploying the models also. So, and then people always think you just do some models, then it's fine. But no, it's not only models, it's engineering. It's developing machine learning pipelines, operations, and everything. And that's the biggest work behind all of this. And yeah, so, but.
So lesson learned would be getting the management or the business side to understand what is a data, actually.
Exactly. And
because the next, well, from my understanding, from what you said, an Excel sheet is not data.
that's a very controversial.
Let's open the debate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But that's, the problem is that, you have all the data problems inherent to Excel sheets, like missing data, unclear nomenclature, and things like that. With these Excel sheets, and of course, when a scientist fills up an Excel sheet, he doesn't think about how maybe in the future a data scientist will have a look at that,
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for sharing. Much appreciated. Anyone else?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I work for D1. It's a consulting company which creates value out of data. And something which I have experienced in various projects is that in the initial thing you want to solve a business problem, and then you give this to a data scientist. He collects some data, he gets some data somewhere, and he builds a really fancy solution. And then you go back to business and they say like, but that is not our problem. And then you invested a lot of time, but somewhere in between, there was a misunderstanding of the people involved, from business to data science experts. And I think that link which needs to be made there is absolutely crucial for a project to being a success. Because if those people do not understand each other, it just goes away, and the problem solved it's a really nice solution, it's really fancy, but it just does not solve the problem which should be solved.
So framing the problem both in terms of business perspective and technical perspective, right? I think some kind of business analyst in between that would
Exactly.
translate.
So you need someone to translate, and you need to make sure that when you translate the business problem into your data problem, that it's still sufficiently close to your business problem. It's very hard to be precisely exactly that. That's almost never possible, because business does not know the data and they don't know what's possible. And on the other side, the data people, they are not business experts. So it's never a one-to-one match, but you should really invest time to be as close as possible to maintain the problem and to not just solve some other problem. That is one of my experiences and mistakes which I've seen happens very often.
Thank you very much for sharing. Now, in an ideal world, do you think it would be possible to get rid of the business analyst or the Google Translate for businesses, let's call it that way, role, and having the data scientist being able to evangelize and make things conceptual more understandable for businesses, and on the other side, having businesses getting a bit more techies? Would that be possible? I'm not a technical guy. We're not technical guys, right? And, well, to me, machine learning and AI sounds like science fiction. I wish I could understand or what you're talking about, you guys, but... So, would that be possible?
Working. Okay.
Cool.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Harry. I'm
Hi,
a
Harry.
techie.
Cool.
Actually, I'm a data scientist. I work at Vodafone. We have a team of 20 data scientists, so we are pretty big. And in the whole Europe, I think we are around 200. Coming to your question, I think the data scientist is the next business analyst, in my opinion.
Oh.
Because the point is, if you are a business stakeholder but you don't understand a model, that's a problem for the company. But to get there, in my opinion, is a long journey. And in my experience, the biggest mistake that I see in Italy, where I'm from, is that companies start by hiring data scientists, but instead they should hire data engineers. That is really crucial. There was a talk before, not yours, but a couple before, that was stressed that 70% of their time is on engineering tasks. This, in my opinion, is the most important thing, because it's not just a matter, as the other girl was saying, that you build a model and then you ship it. That thing has to go on production, which in my opinion is one of the most misused word in the world of data science. Because actually the industry is really mature. Unless you're working at Google or Facebook, where they have tons of very high-skilled engineers, you don't find those skills easily on the market. So if I have to give an advice, in my opinion, is just hire one data scientist and then focus all your energy on hiring data engineers to build, first of all, data governance. Because another important rule of data science, let's say, is that trash in, trash out. So if you don't have good data, there is no way that you can get good insights. And my final thing that I think is really interesting, I see in the future another important figure within the company is what I call the data auditor. So there should be a person or multiple persons in the company which are the business meeting. And whenever a business stakeholder is saying, okay, we want to spin this product or whatever, it's important that we keep track of what is introduced in the data. What kind of data is introduced in the company? Because otherwise what you end up with is having more databases than employees of the company. And then you don't know where the data are, and you don't know what the data are like. So in my opinion, this is really crucial. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Well, I think we're done. Thank you very much. Lesson learned on that one is don't buy the buzz, right? Everybody's looking for data scientists because everybody's looking for data scientists. So somehow I must have one in my company. Makes sense. He'll do what he knows, and he'll come up with some solutions. But get engineers on board to work on the data first, and then you'll have someone to exploit them. Good insight. Thank you very much for your participation. It's been great. I think we can all learn from failures, and once again, it's good to share successes, but I think we can learn a lot with failures. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Thank you.